So let's talk about it. So that's the thing. So I find it is
We're trying to upgrade camera quality as well eventually.
yes.
All the time.
So as you will most likely see, a future project, not just the podcast, and not just me time, so other projects like MATT, Adventures of the Lost Omens, there will be an increase in camera quality, hopefully at some point. But I can only do what I can only do with the equipment that I have. So we're going to really try our best because my DSLR is great, but like every normal camera, at 30 minutes, it clicks off and it automatically stops recording. So me and Elliott prefer the consistent recording, nothing held back, raw footage approach. And we don't really like trimming and cropping if we can help it.
Yeah.
So for now, we're going to go with this streaming approach and see how it goes. If any of you want to loan us a nice camera for a reasonable price, then I'm willing to bargain. We're going to Oregon. I came for it because of this one.
Yeah.
And I think the final thing that I would like to say is thank you very much for the response for the episodes that have gone up so far.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's fair. We were quite surprised at how many views we got just from the outset. We were kind of going, we're going to give it a go, see what happens. Yeah, first couple of views, considering we're sort of starting off with that. All right, that's fair.
Me,
Take it.
sorry, let's do this grammatically correct. Elliott and I, Elliott and I weren't expecting any views on our podcast for a very long time. We just wanted to churn it out, see what we could do. Just like you say in the trailer, which I think is very apt, just two guys having a chat.
Yeah.
That's all we wanted it to be. And by the time that we're recording this episode, because we recorded a bundle, and of course, you're well aware we've got an agenda, which I will go into at some point. Elliott will join me on that as well.
Yeah.
By the time that we've recorded this, the first episode has gone up, and within a fair few days, that was up to 50 views.
Yeah.
And that was just 50 views. Doesn't sound like a lot, but to me and Elliott and I, it is.
Yeah. No.
So thank you. 50 of you watching the first episode, because this was just about me and Elliott.
Yeah.
That wasn't about what we wanted to talk about, really. That's just an introduction.
Yeah.
So that was really cool, guys. That was awesome. Cheers.
Yeah. I guess another possible thing, we weren't going to too much detail just yet, but we kind of we got at the minute for this podcast, we got 22 episodes kind of planned that we're kind of going through the process of filming, and then we'll start going sort of some new ideas, we're already discussions for sort of phase 2, I guess, of the podcast in regards to what we're going to get. So it's just as well saying. I get them to American. Yeah. Well, we wanted to do it in another episode, but now that you mentioned it, I was into it. So, right in this sort of with the podcast, I'd say we've got a lot planned. We'll call that me time phase 1. Yeah.
So expect us. So when this episode is up, all of the episodes of My Hero Academia will be up. And as per what we've planned, when we talk about a specific case study or a specific thing, be it an anime, a TV show, or a movie, for example, we will have 3 episodes breaking it down. So in My Hero Academia, we've done our 3. We've done, us discovering the show, breaking down some characters, and then breaking down all of the other characters. So we split them across 3 episodes. Now we're on the Marvel slate. We've done one of them. So we broke down Tony Stark last time. We got very raw.
Yeah.
Very real.
I'm very ace.
Yeah. It's just interesting as well, because there was a few things besides that. Me and Elliott, and oh my God, the grammar there. When we looked at the footage afterwards, we're like, crikey, are we okay to upload that?
Yeah.
Are we?
But also at the same time, kind of excited.
We weren't very confident with our words. We were saying the wrong things. But then in the end, you watch us with our discussion have the evolution of letting ourselves follow those words forward and find something that works. We finally found our voice within the episode. So this is why we keep on doing that. So we are going to continue our Marvel slate today with Phase 4 and 5, as per the title, the good, the bad, and the ugly of Phase 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And then we will continue with the next episode. I won't reveal what that's going to be yet, but it's going to be the conclusion of the MCU. After that, we'll continue to do the same formulaic 3-episode agenda with movies. We're definitely going to talk about another anime. We're definitely going to talk about another movie. We are going to be talking about some games at some point.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about some artwork at some point as well. Choreography. Off the top of my head, what else will we going to talk about? I think that's basically a good summary.
Yeah.
Cinema in general. I think we wanted to talk about cinema in general as a whole. So expect those sort of content, but we won't tell you specifically what that is. Just that's what to expect.
Yeah, I'll probably say as well, like as much as we're kind of frame our discussion of the movies, but sometimes we'll hit on sort of deep subjects as well, as we sort of had in the past. It's more free flowing maybe in regards to how we maybe get to certain subjects, but that's sort of how we're kind of framing lots of these.
Yeah. So when we plan start, when we pass all of our planned episodes, you'll notice there will be a point in the future where Elliott and I did it right that time. Hooray! We won't slow the podcast down, but it will get to a point where our agenda becomes a little less obvious to us. Then we will duck that as phase 2.
Yeah.
We will move forward with, if there is any suggestions, then we'll take it. But me and you, we've already had a couple of ideas of what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a couple of people talk to us about joining us as well, which is really cool. Being approached in public and people asking us, can we join in with the conversations and the events? Absolutely. In phase 2, we're more than happy to bring people along.
Phase 2 is definitely interesting. We've got two perspectives at the moment. Having like a third perspective will also be interesting in regards to sort of discussions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
Anyways, so stuff you have how much time that we spend by talking. So shy of 2 minutes. Jimmy.
Nice.
Jimmy.
Hey, what's out?
Hey, what's it like? I'm not just about what was the week. Let's I'll just it's not disgusting. But today, not something, episode 6, phase 4 and 5, the ugly. What the hell happened? We're going to start with the we discussed this just before we did anything. We're going to start with the good stuff. Because let's say, come on, let's be honest. There were a lot of projects in phase 4 and 5 that we all said that was great.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
So
I think Loki being set up.
like, yeah. So we'll definitely get into that. But I think an apt point to start would be post Endgame. Like immediately after Endgame. So I don't know when did you watch Endgame?
Oh guys, what about now?
Did you watch it in the cinema?
Yeah, it was in the cinema.
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw it. I actually saw it.
You didn't see it. It was saw it with my good friend Sam.
Yeah, no, I saw it with someone else, put that way.
I
remember that sort of final scene. All that sort of stuff. I was like,
honestly, it felt like a conclusion.
Yeah, no, it definitely bookmarked theme. I mean, that's a good sort of thing. Like, it definitely concluded in such a way that, all right, I'm happy with that.
All of the core Avengers had their story told. We had Tony Stark's ultimate sacrifice, which we won't really talk about at all in this. Basically, the topic of episode 5. Captain America finally going back in time to live the simple life he always wanted to live with Langley, finally get the girl.
Like his dance. Finally get his dance.
But almost brought a tear to my eye.
Yeah.
I think I was more happy for him than like bittersweet sad, just not like, it was money. You think it was, yes. Yeah.
I think we're going to give him more rest of the line.
Yeah. I would be lost. Black Widow, ultimate sacrifice to save all of the Avengers. Very heartbreaking finish to her character.
I was not supposed to that one.
I wasn't expecting her to die, and I didn't like it. If I'm being honest, in a good way, I didn't like it. Like when it happened on screen, I wasn't crying. I know a lot of people were emotional. I was more like,
yeah,
that just happened.
Yeah, I'm probably low. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was tough to process them. And then Hawkeye giving his own arc as well, realizing how sort of skilled and powerful he was, and then bringing it full circle and saving his family and saving the world, Hulk finally being at peace with Anna and Hulk and being Professor Hulk, which I know a lot of people hated that.
Yeah.
I personally, in terms of the Endgame movie, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the Hulk, the intelligent Hulk in Endgame, because it made sense for his character. And then Thor going through all kinds, 7 stages of grief.
Yeah.
Having PTSD, failing, losing basically everyone he loved. But then teaming up with Cap and Tony to defeat Thanos once and for all, and then going off into the universe with the Guardians of the Galaxy to redeem himself and be the explorer, the God of Thunder. So it didn't like have everyone settling down and finally going like, "Oh, this is awesome, we're all done."
Okay, yeah, it did have some sacrifice. I mean,
yeah, we had Song took the mantle of Cap. So the Falcon took the shield.
Interesting.
So we were like, okay. Yeah. So
you were the song really. It's like, and then
because we knew that's we announced these four was Endgame. We watched Endgame, and we thought we both agreed it was very fitting finale for the MCU.
Yeah,
very fitting.
The sort of the foundation for what they looked like now in the build.
Yes,
looked cool.
Yeah.
It was just how they've now decided to go back again.
We'll definitely get onto this because it is a big problem in my eyes.
Really?
If you just view Endgame as a hypothetical end.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just say Endgame Phase 3. There wasn't any Far From Homes after where Spider-Man was grieving about Tony Stark's death. Endgame was the end. It would still work. There would be loose ends. Sometimes that's what you need in an ending. You're left to imagine Sam as Captain America. He's finally got the title that he didn't know that he wanted.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I mean, when Matt put it out and Cap getting rid of the shield, like we all sort of like
we all expected it to be Bucky, didn't we?
Yeah, we all kind of thought Bucky would probably take it.
Yeah.
Sam getting the shield, I think the audience and they were going, oh, okay, that's an interesting take, but we'll go with it. Kind of thinking,
yeah, he was a pick. I genuinely thought Bucky was going to get it. And then when the shield was given to Sam, I was like, very much like yourself. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is really interesting.
Yeah.
Then Thor going off with the Guardians of the Galaxy, I thought, this is going to be such a good cast of characters together.
Yeah.
That really works. Thor's off in the galaxy. Hawkeye settled down with his family. Hulk is still helping with the new Avengers. Pepper and her daughter are thriving. everyone's going off doing their thing, and it's good. So if Endgame was the ending, then it didn't tie up every loose end. There would have been still things to think about and want, but granted, there were Phase 4 projects that we never would have got.
No.
But it would have been a finale nonetheless.
Yeah, no.
So then we move on to Phase 4. I felt like it was appropriate to talk about our Endgame opinions, because when we go to talk about Phase 4 and 5 being sort of the extension from that ending point, we can go back and analyse what went sort of wrong. So Phase 4, what were the good things? Let's start with the good things.
I guess Spider-Man,
No Way Home.
So at least 3 times. I think this one, yeah.
Spider-Man, first project after. That's Phase 4.
Yeah, Far From Home, that's one.
It was funny. We didn't mind it, but it was very Iron Man Junior movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I think we're kind of expecting that when Homecoming came along, and we kind of knew that Spider-Man was going to sort of take that direction for a little bit. Although I think that was definitely sort of a positive move for the time being. It was like one of those sort of like good films, good to watch sort of thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much you get out of the theatre and go, wow, we're like you did with Iron Man 1, really. Or, in my case, Iron Man 3. But it was still I think it's still good. It still has some good points to sort of prove. Still had their sort of those nice underlying messages, or there was some quite hopeful, I guess. So I think that was kind of a good. It was kind of the start of going, okay, they could have something there, until you kind of got tripped up on the other, which is there going. I'm not quite sure where you're going there.
I think that was what Phase 4 was like. Direction. I'll start with the first Phase 4 project that really caught my eye, and I quite liked, and I still do like in hindsight, WandaVision.
Yeah, no.
I really enjoy the character of Scarlet Witch in that particular TV show, because she's going through grief of losing vision, because their relationship was very quickly rushed towards the end of Phase 2 and throughout Phase 3. It was quite an interesting one, and this TV show really explored the relationship between the two.
Yeah, no, I just feel that was a fair observation to us. Just sort of seeing the more sort of the deep foundations as to where they started. I think, if I can remember correctly, I'm not quite sure, they were both at the stage of going. Vision didn't know who he was, and Scarlet Witch was still at the phase of, I was evil for a time. I'm not quite sure if I can redeem myself, sort of thing. And Vision was sort of there, kind of understanding her and kind of like clarifying her mind. Maybe is probably a good term to use. Sort of like they're both sort of bounced off each other again, and that's kind of where you saw the relationship sort of. You kind of understood where it came from.
Yeah.
But for sure, I always feel like Scarlet Witch was assassinated in Doctor Strange too. I was feeling very sorry.
Moving on to the negatives real quick. Yeah, I know. James is to be a part of it, and I told Elliott before, let's try and get the positives out of the way first, because there is so much in Phase 4 and 5 that did not hit the mark. But I don't want to ignore the fact that there were projects that we enjoyed. I remember sitting in this exact spot, watching the TV in the background, behind the camera, don't worry, and losing my rag, not losing it in a good way, to when the X-Men revealed he's been in WandaVision.
Oh, yeah.
The Quicksilver from the X-Men Days of Future Past coming in, because Pietro, I was like, okay, what is the multiverse finally confirmed? Because at this point, the deal with Fox, like Fox is now like owned by Disney. So the rights to the X-Men universe, the Deadpool movies, and the Fantastic Four, Marvel had. So we all wondered what they were going to do if there was going to be sort of like an X-Men movie at some point. One of the first Phase 4 projects, X-Men slapped right in there. I was like, wow, was not ready for that. They very much clearly have a plan for Phase 4.
What's that?
Well, Multiverse.
I think possible. Multiverse concentrating most.
As Deadpool quoted, take the L. The multiverse thing ain't working out.
Yeah, no.
Take the L. Fair enough. But then we discovered at the end of WandaVision, it wasn't Pietro, it was Ralph Boner. It was a human that just so coincidentally looked like the X-Men from that universe.
Yeah.
And that was probably the first red flag to me. It was, no, I did not like that. There's something that's all serious. Massively. Whoever texted us, tell them, lots of concentration now. The next good thing after was Loki. Yeah, TV series. Disney Plus were really hyping the amount of TV shows that they were going to churn out. And it wasn't exactly something I was on board with at first. I was like, for 10 years, you had these movies carefully planned out, post credits, and it was telling a long story that we were patiently being rewarded for, milestone after milestone after milestone, investigating all the new details, learning about all these new characters, and the universe is expanding and eventually converging into one final battle that we all wanted. So where do you go from there onwards? They clearly, with Loki, wanted to get even bigger. They wanted a multiverse. They wanted all of the characters, even more characters, to hopefully go against another Thanos threat. That was what I wanted. A part of me wanted Galactus to be that threat.
Yeah, they're kind of. You thought you were writing towards. They were writing towards that, and then they weren't. And they got to. What's going on? You know, it's the whiplash, look. They got in that direction. I'm hoping no.
Because then Loki then basically confirms the multiverse. But speculation in WandaVision, it was teased at. We were very delightfully teased with it. And then, like you say, Wanda goes off, and then she's had a villain. She had her not anti-hero, sort of like anti-villain arc.
Yeah,
she does a bad thing because she's grieving, and then she's like, "I'm going to go away and atone my sins."
Yeah, all about others.
Yeah. Well, believe me, we're going to rip Toxic Strange 2. We're going to rip Strange 2 just once. I don't know what your thoughts are on Loki and the reveal of the multiverse, Elliott.
I think Loki was clever in how it was written, but for the wider films and universe, I think they got tangled in their own lore, and it's like, oh, hang on, because this universe is now somewhat linked to this universe, or this is different because this decision was made. Like, okay, you've got too many things going on right now.
They didn't know what they were doing.
I mean,
I will stand by that.
Yeah. I think the way in which they sort of concluded it in Loki was clever because it was that sort of like it was its own thing.
Yeah.
Well, But because you've got other movies kind of briefly touch you on that.
Yeah.
And then you're not seeing, and then people are choosing not to see Loki because they can't afford the subscription to Disney or whatever. People are there going, "Oh, I don't know what the hell's going on. I just know there's multiverses about it. They don't know the intertwined lore about it." And there's no real refinement on how time. I mean, we get an idea of how time was made, how new time was made, but there doesn't seem there's no consequence to that timeline being made to a degree. There is, but at the same time there isn't. It's a bit of a nothing consequence, maybe. Lack of a better term.
So I think that was very well said, because what I found was the setup of the multiverse in Loki was it was well done, but it was still quite messy. It basically implied multiverse is real. There's parallel universes. There's different timelines, different time streams. The TVA are basically trying to keep the sacred timeline clean. So everything's possible. Basically, we've got variants. We've got loads of different types of Lokis. We've got Void. There's so many different character drops, and then wham bam shangalang, Kang was revealed.
Yeah.
Kang was revealed, He Who Remains. Jonathan Majors at the time was announced as Kang the Conqueror in the upcoming Ant-Man Quantumania film, New Phase 5. So at the time it was being filmed. So we knew Kang the Conqueror was coming. And I didn't know who Kang the Conqueror was, but many, many Marvel fans did. Kang the Conqueror is a man from the 30th century with time-traveling tech. Basically, it's in the name. Goes back in time.
Yeah,
he's a villain. Sort of stuff. So
I did find.
Yeah.
Again, you weren't. If you didn't watch the Loki series, you're still screwed out with movies.
Oh my goodness! I'm just
Yeah. But I did find it interesting when Loki first meets Kang, and I literally just had a conversation with your brother a minute ago. Of like the Matrix. It was you kind of wasn't it not the carry the same weight, but when Neo speaks to the architect, you kind of get that same sort of parallel, but in a Marvel kind of context of where Loki is now speaking to Kang at the time, Time Monster.
Loved that conversation that they had.
Yeah, the conversation between consequences and why I need to be in this position, this sort of morally great position. Was an interesting conversation. That was cool, but you wouldn't know that if you only watched the movie sort of thing. It's that catch 22 again. But yeah,
So the philosophical idea behind Kang as basically the one man that knows about the multiverse and prevents multiversal conflict, preventing all of his very deadly variants from spreading all around the multiverse and absolutely destroying everything. The concept of that, I was like, is very interesting to me because Kang could very much be this big, big threat in every single Marvel film. And I can speculate that this is going to be a very experimental idea for Marvel, but if they pull it off, which they didn't, then it could work. So Kang is, again, in Loki, he's ultimately killed by Loki's variant Sylvie, and then it muddles everything up. Loki goes through his journey and realizes that basically that has to be always a guardian of time, a god of time, essentially what Kang was.
Yeah.
So he takes Kang's place and has a perfect resolution to his character from phase 1 to there.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on something that I was speaking to you sort of a minute ago. In a big coffee. Where people struggle to sort of justify grey decisions. So I'm gonna. So Sylvie basically takes out Kang because she's there going, you shouldn't control my life, sort of thing.
You are the reason that my timeline got erased.
Yeah, I mean, granted, that sucks. You see Kang explain it, and Loki's at the same time going, "Oh crap, he's making a good point. I don't quite know how to quite justify this." The fact you get season 2 of Loki where he essentially becomes the new Time Lost, kind of proves Kang's original point is that
absolutely.
You need those morally great people to act in those ways to make those hard decisions.
Which Loki was very much the perfect product.
Yeah.
As we know, Loki was a villain. He was a villain in phase 1. He was the main reason that the Avengers assembled.
Yeah.
And then after that, he went through a whole character arc of redeeming himself, realizing that he loved his brother, he loved his father, he only wanted to rule Asgard, be noticed, people to love him and to respect him. He viewed that as reverement. He had a right to the throne, and he wanted to rule as a benevolent king. And when he didn't get his way, he threw his toys at the front. He's the god of mischief. He backstabs people all the time. He uses his magic for the purposes of his own intentions. So after Endgame, when he realizes that there is a power even greater than the Infinity Stones, even greater than Thanos, they can hop into a time stream, click a button and destroy the timeline. He's like, I need to learn more about this. So he enlists himself and goes through another arc. And it's almost like he goes through his second character arc.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, in essence, to him sort of thing.
By the end of this Loki series 2.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I can't remember the name now. God, that's cameos.
Not Paradox, that's the dude in Deadpool.
Mobius, yeah. Mobius' breakdown on Loki, it was hilarious. Every time he gets a point to jab at him, after looking down the sword, I was like, look, this is what you'd do. Loki's like going, no, hang on, maybe I would do this. It also kind of gives that, I think, Loki's kind of first real, maybe I am that person. The first real sort of lens to go, hang on. Yeah, maybe I am the bad guy. Because it's interesting, his motivation towards the end of series 2, he doesn't want the universe to be destroyed because that's where it's kind of heading. So, because he kind of respects life itself in general. That's kind of the whole reason he kind of chose to try and help out Sylvie in season 1.
Yeah.
All life is precious sort of thing. Kind of weird because of where he came from in the Avengers. And then sort of go, hang on. If I'm the only one capable of learning all this, and have the power to do so, I'm the only one capable of holding this throne sort of thing.
He's the only one that can save it.
Yeah.
And, pardon me, the one thing I don't like about character arcs sometimes is that they're very, very rushed. Is it's meant to be rushed.
Yeah.
But they at least, I remember where in series 2, he goes, how long will it take for me to understand the mechanics and engineering behind this device?
Yeah.
At least 50 years. And then it comes to a title card, 50 years of time jumping later. I'm like, that's all we need to do.
Yeah.
Like, Loki has spent 50 years devoted to learning this. That's grown. That's a lot of time for a character to grow. He's done to that extent to save basically all of existence. So he was one of the most, you know what, I'll say, he was the most interesting. His relationship with Sylvie and Kang was fantastic. Kang saying, like, we need order, we need control, otherwise everything dies. Everything goes. and you have to push the people. Kang said it to people, but liken it to and it was a plot device. You have to push the things aside that will shorten that and stop that. It's for the greater good. For, as he says, for all time, always.
Yeah.
That's what TVA say. And then Sylvie goes, rules, destroy lives, rules, arguably create more havoc when they don't intend to. We don't deserve to be controlled. We deserve to be free. Granted, she has a good point.
Yeah. It's kind of a bit.
Yeah.
She's right, but she's kind of naive. And
well, yeah. She is naive. But Kang is no better. Kang again rules the universe with an iron fist and destroys timelines.
Yeah.
Just like, remorselessly. You don't need that.
No.
Which Loki became the perfect antithesis of that.
Yeah.
He came right in between and said, I'm going to take both of your ideals and make it even better. All of the universes and timelines can now exist. Everyone can be free. And I will rule as a silent, lonely king on my throne. That is my right. That is the kind of God that I need to be. Extremely sad, but the perfect way for Loki's character to be into a conclusion. So when we're talking about the good of Phase 4 and Phase 5, because Loki Series 2 was Phase 5, I'm pretty sure it was. It came out. It came out last year.
Yeah, damn.
So it was definitely Phase 5.
Yeah.
So they have a plan for Loki. That element of the multiverse at least made sense. I think there's one more Phase 4 project that we want to talk about that was good. Spider-Man No Way Home.
Well, yeah.
Spider-Man No Way Home. Now this is the multiverse treat. So when Peter Parker invokes the multiversal spell to make sure everyone forgets, I think it's forgets who. That's it.
Yeah.
It's forget who Peter Parker is. That people don't. I don't want people to know that I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So then they watch the spell, and basically everyone that knows he's Spider-Man comes into the universe. Which was at the time when I was watching it, is like this is a very different approach to the multiverse. Is what Loki did. So I'm a little confused, but I'm here to stay. So maybe the spell breaks the multiverse in a way that unleashes the multiverse into the sacred timeline.
Yeah. We don't know.
I was unsure. And I don't think they knew either. It's like, I think all they were focused on was, let's get an excuse to bring all of the characters from Sam Raimi's films and Sony's films, so the Amazing Spider-Man and the original Spider-Man films, all into one film to give the fans what they want. And I do not care, because what we got was a treat.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It definitely it respects the previous Spider-Man films, bad actors.
It doesn't even stand in story as well.
No.
You can sort of view it as a spiritual epilogue. We know it's alluded to what Spider-Man were doing in the time that we were away from the universe. The villains got their cures. They saved them instead of letting them die.
So next time we got actually like half his unalive God. And it's just
we're going to try on YouTube, okay?
I unalive most of his villains. I think Andrew Garfield did as well.
Well, if you think about it, Tobey Maguire never unalived his villains. Green Goblin did that to himself.
That's it, yeah.
How is it in Spider-Man 3? So he was killed, he was unalived by his own glider. The blade that pierced your father's body. That's it. It's just the blade that pierced your father's body. You could have told me this 2 movies ago. So Green Goblin was the cause of his own destruction. Doc Ock was aware of what he became, so he ultimately sacrificed himself to stop his creation. Sandman didn't unalive. He was fine. Venom, to be fair, Peter destroyed the symbiote. But Eddie threw himself into the grenade. So he never intended on hurting or destroying anyone. Andrew Garfield, the lizard was fine. He wasn't unalived. I think Electro, he never intended to do anything awful to Electro. He just drew out all of his power and he just faded away into the electric system. I think the only villain that he attempted to unalive was Green Goblin. When Gwen, her life was lost. I think there's allegedly a deleted scene where he's beating him within an inch of his life. Allegedly, I don't know if that's real or not. I don't know if I'm making that up or something. But we knew in No Way Home, he's like, I got angry, I got bitter, stopped pulling my punches. Like, man got dark. Spider-Man got dark.
But there's also that sort of interesting difference between all three Spider-Man.
Because they came together and they helped. Current Peter Parker, Tom Holland, evolve his character. He had to go through the same sacrifices and struggles that every Spider-Man does. People close to you, unalive all the time. It is our responsibility to use our power to do the right thing. Maybe she didn't unalive for nothing, Peter.
That's funny. Like, was it? They explained that universe. And Peter at this point hasn't done it. Price funny. God, you guys okay? I think leave, but I have really said to leave the one. Same decisions. Oh, this sucks.
I think some of my favorite lines of dialogue, definitely my favorite was how Tobey Maguire's web. Just obviously, we know it comes out of his body. Because, well, you don't have a web shooter. Oh, you can't do it, huh? Sorry, it's just somewhere else. And then they talk about the villains that they faced as well. I fought an alien made of black goo, and I fought a purple alien in space. I want to fight an alien. How? Fight an alien. I mean, my villains are lame to you compared to your guys. I fought a Russian guy in a rhinoceros suit. So there's something behind it. The banter between the Spider-Men were great. We always wanted to see the Spider-Man again. So the multiverse was the greatest way to do that. To bring Peter Parker's story to a close. Well, he became the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. All of the villains went back to their respective universes, saved, redeemed. The Spider-Men had their epilogues as well. We were happy with that movie. Introducing Daredevil as well. I know you and you in the cinema just both shut up and looked at one another and went, Daredevil. Yeah, Daredevil's back, so we were happy.
That was another good stage in the previous stages.
We wanted them shows to be part of the main cinematic universe. And we're now getting Daredevil born again. Trailer. Can't wait for that. Really can't wait. It's producing. Why do we boo-hooing it? Speaking of boo-hooing, I'm start losing stuff, shall we? I think we're talking about the good stuff now. Division and No Way Home I will say they're linked together because Doctor Strange was a part of No Way Home, and the post-credits of No Way Home, we then get confirmed. We basically watched the trailer for the Multiverse of Mattness. So Doctor Strange confronts Wanda, and the multiverse becomes real. We have the What If, the TV show What If is referenced with evil Doctor Strange. You haven't watched What If?
No.
I speak mostly. I'm not going to speak on behalf of the Marvel fans. I'm just going to speak as me. You're not missing out on anything.
Yeah, no, that's
You know what? It's. I mean, What If was essentially. It is in the name. What if this character did the thing? Here's a timeline where Ultron won. Here's a timeline where Steve didn't become the super soldier. Peggy Carter did. Here's the Marvel Zombies timeline. So some of those concepts are very interesting, but there was like, for example, Party 4 couldn't care less. Really, really could not care for that story.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's what else? Series 2. See, look, I couldn't even remember what happened in Series 2. It was that boring. Oh my gosh, I'm really struggling here. What happened in Series 2? Really goodness. Yeah. See? It's forgettable because it's not fun. It's fun. What I remember is that, oh my gosh, now I remember. Captain Carter basically became a god and then defeated evil Doctor Strange by using all of the Infinity Stones, all of Hela's weapons, all of these multiversal weapons without suffering like Tony Stark did. And then Strange died and the universe was saved, except it wasn't because I haven't seen Series 3 because then I don't even know. People, I've seen people call it online the Captain Carter show, which I think is a little on the nose. If you are putting all of your eggs in one basket in a show that is called What If, where you are trying to tell multiple different stories, then maybe an overarching narrative for a show like that isn't fitting. Okay, so let's go back to this strange thing. So we knew there was references to What If. We knew there was references because of Spider-Man. The multiverse was unleashed. We knew about Loki and Wanda. Wanda was involved. Loki had the multiverse, and we thought we're finally going to learn what is going on. Yeah, and we didn't. Do you want to talk about this? Because when I'm talking, I'm not going to stop. Really,
true.
Right.
I don't yeah.
So,
Yeah, well, I guess. Well, I guess we're kind of introduced to Doctor Strange in kind of a weird way in the first place. Like the way the film opens up is cool. I mean, it's like the line between it. His line between his I don't know, ex-girlfriend maybe is very nice. It's very cool. I can't deny that. The opening scene is when it starts to go a bit pear-shaped. Like as soon as he kind of, I'm not the Doctor so much anymore. I'm more Doctor Strange. What I mean, they go, all right, yeah, I can kind of respect that. It's as soon as he sets off, uses his cape to then take out the prophecy. I can't remember what it was.
The Illuminati.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Illuminati,
No.
I made a joke because it was like a triangle star thing. Let's just call it starfish.
Yeah. I don't. That's a starfish sort of like enters into the universe for some reason. It was nice, and then we kind of in Doctor Strange is then introduced to the multiverse because the starfish came in a different dimension. So
right, okay. Go. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay. Scarlet Witch's character arc from WandaVision was completely botched. She turned into a villain. Why? Why did she turn into a villain? It made WandaVision completely pointless and it made it an irrelevant watch.
Yeah.
Okay. America Chavez. She had the power to walk through multiverses. Okay, what, why, and how? We don't know if that was a power that was established in TVA. She showed no signs of struggling, and then she somehow mastered it at the end, that she made like a star. She was a very irritating plot device MacGuffin character. Wanda was stupid. She was so stupid. Why could she not just ask her rather than take her powers and kill her?
Yeah.
Doctor Strange was equally stupid. He could have persuaded Wanda in a better way. He couldn't have confronted. Like, what I didn't understand.
Yeah.
The multiverse in that movie was terrible. It was all kinds of terrible. There's an infinite amount of universes, and we're only going to one. Where the main difference is the color of the goddamn traffic lights.
Yeah. Like, oh, okay, that's awesome.
Okay.
Just wait, it kind of it's kind of, I guess it's sort of weird where like you got that strange tease in Doctor Strange 1, like where he goes through, where he goes, what's this? Going, it was cool. And then in Doctor Strange 2, you're there going, how would you go from Doctor Strange 1 to Doctor Strange 2? There's different lights in the weird, and some weird world building for that one world. You're there going, alright, that's bizarre.
And then you've got... So we've established that Wanda is the villain. I'm really not happy about it, his decision, because she's gone through enough. So the fact that she's turned evil to murder a different Wanda in a different universe to find hypothetical children, when she could ask America Chavez to do that, she could ask Doctor Strange to do that. Why? And there's the BS that because she read the Darkhold influenced her and made her evil. I think that's a load of tosh. Because we still don't know what the Darkhold is. Then halfway through the movie, the Illuminati appear, fan service galore. We've got all of these random characters. We've got Professor X comes in. Okay, really cool to see him as leader of the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Stranger reflects the multiverse. Especially, things are different. And then Doctor Strange is like, it's time for you guys to all alive. Like, okay, we don't embrace his fun because I know we're magic in the multiverse. It's magic in there.
Why there's no signs I would say will show that he could be a threat. There's no sort of even I don't even like subtle tells that maybe the Doctor Strange that we're having is not the one we think we are seeing, sort of thing. But you could do in a multiverse. But then it was like, okay, that's what's
no. So beauty was Florence. You had in a different universe. Strange had this. We had stupid Doctor Strange at the start who backstabbed America.
Yeah.
We had Doctor Strange in the traffic light. I'm going to call it traffic light universe. Traffic light universe. Who said, "Now that Thanos is dead, I need to go as well. See you later." We've got evil Doctor Strange, who appears because why?
Yeah.
Why is evil Doctor Strange there? We all thought that Doctor Strange was going to be the villain, which would have made for a more interesting concept because it shows us that heroes in one universe could be a villain in another universe, which What did very well.
Yeah.
I will say in its defense.
But it sets you up for the following films that are credit now.
Yeah.
We'll go into those into the next episode.
Yeah. So, which we'll discuss in the next episode. Evil versions of our heroes will be the main threat. The Doctor Strange, evil Doctor Strange, just comes along and just goes, "I read the Darkhold because I'm evil.
What?
I unalive variants of Doctor Strange. So I realized, okay, so I've only seen Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness once because I refused to watch it again. So if I'm watching the story details here, if there is a legitimate reason for evil Doctor Strange doing what he did and Doctor Strange being the main threat of the multiverse, then let me know in the comments. I'm trying to piece it together again in my mind. I believe it is because he keeps tinkering with jumping through the multiverse or something like that. Something like trying to find a universe where he has a girlfriend or something like that. Fair enough. I mean, that's it. And especially for Ellie. She was graduate.
It was cool, but there wasn't anything. I'm glad it was cool, but again, you are right in saying why. There's no real kind of like. There is props to kind of suggest it happened, but at the same time, it's like it was cool.
Yeah. And he uses the dark hold to jump back into the other universe because why not? TV not interfering with any of this at the moment because why? Because TVA knows about multiversal activity, whereas proven in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah,
they're just like something's going on here. It's just strange, jumping from universe to universe.
Well, they even see it Loki. It's like, oh, this universe. It's all ancient.
And then he just comes back. And then America Chavez says, here you go, here's the universe you wanted. Doctor Strange, you didn't need to come back. Here's Wanda's universe. Wanda realizes, oh, yo, I'm actually evil. Peace out. She unalives herself. I'm furious about that. You absolutely botched to a character. Doctor Strange is also evil. Goes off into the dark dimension with this random Chinese throne cameo. I'm like, it's never mentioned again. And then it's all downhill from here. Because it's very then clear. Just Q doesn't appear in this movie. There's no reference to this big threat. Because as we learned, there was always this background threat, this knowledge of something coming in the Infinity Saga. That the hype of the teasing of all of the reveal of the Infinity Stones and realizing assembling these stones is eventually going to cause a war. The Infinity War. So all of these timelines, there's Kang's for them. Assembling of the Kangs is going to reveal that he's planning something. Yep. The Wasp, Quantum Mania.
I was watching it.
Get to do that.
I did watching it. I was cables. I had light shoulders. It's good.
Kang is awful in that movie. Jonathan Majors, what speculation, whatever he's done, I don't know. I don't watch the news. I don't get into politics. I don't get into anything I don't know. But the role that he was given was almost impossible because the whole thing, they're just like, oh my gosh, Kang is such a bad guy. Oh my God. He walks into a scene with big CGI face MODOK and everyone's like, oh, please, oh no. He raises his finger and then MODOK is pushed to the other side of the room. And I was like, he's powerful. Okay. So they're not going to be able to stop him. But he's going to be the for the rest of phase 5 and 6 dies. Unalived, sorry. He gets unalived in the movie by ants.
Yeah.
He just walks into the scene, lets off a few. Why couldn't he just raise the stage and just like he did with MODOK when he went like that and went, and MODOK went, Why didn't he just walk into the middle of the battlefield and just do everyone goes, you can stop letting it go. You get slightly beaded by hands, gets giant stones, has a very nice and then just implodes into this MacGuffin time device. Oh, and then they load up all of the other claims being a frigate. It's like, I don't care. You've given me no reason to think, because of this movie, that he's a competent villain. And that was for me, that was my turning point. That the character stopped being competent.
Yeah. I think I also want to touch on, because I did actually watch this series, and that was the Captain America series. Winter Soldier. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's funny the name. Yeah. It's kind of annoying because, again, the characters that are in that could have some interesting storylines.
Yeah,
but they're never talked about. So you've got I've forgotten his name again. No, not John Walker. Zemo.
Oh?
Like Zemo, they're going. Zemo kind of has this arc sort of like Wakandanish arc, where he's like a prince of some another country sort of thing, and is looking to sort of provide for his country. Is he going about it the right way? No, and that's kind of what he says during Civil War. Like, maybe I'm not only through discussions with at that time Captain America and Paul Lucky. Winter Soldier gets a decent arc. Ish. Yeah. John Walker, wasted. Like
such a good concept.
Yeah.
Like the exploration of the quote, perfect soldier and good man. John Walker was the perfect soldier.
Yeah.
But he followed orders to the T, followed the code of the military, but never, ever, throughout the entire series, fought to save people. He was just there to do a mission.
Yeah.
He was there. You are the villain. I'm going to take you down. And it gets him in a lot of trouble.
He doesn't even he doesn't seem to independently even think. It's like, here is order, I carry out order. And it's like, yes, you're a soldier, but even soldiers aren't that so good. Even that, Carl was. So that's all such. You've got the terrorist who's not a terrorist. It's like flag smashers.
If that, oh God, they were awful.
It's like,
I did not like them at all.
Like, they are, like, just say it rather than just fluff around it.
But they were just there to just be like, the devil is found. So they're going to beat people out.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this is kind of where I want to touch on and kind of bring into a broader context, is where I think we're starting to see now where ideas are being properly thought out, but where I want to be able to sort of differentiate between progressive thinking and what we consider work. We're having this conversation over coffee just because it was interesting. Where we spoke about Iron Man 3 previously, and I saw something previously where if Iron Man today was used in 2024, it could be panned as a work movie because Pepper Potts finished off the fight, which is true. But at the same time, the storyline which was told is still legit. Whether whoever finishes the fight or not, the storyline is still properly tied up.
Well, yeah, because it was done well in Iron Man 3. But I would argue, because the whole movie, Iron Man was making loads and loads and loads and loads of suits. Pepper asked him, "Why are you doing this?" He goes, "To protect the one thing that I cannot live without, to protect you."
Yeah.
And then he realized at the end, all of his suits had blown up. He had nothing to protect her with. And then he realized in that moment, I don't need to. You can look after yourself.
Yeah.
Because she then comes in and ultimately wins the day. And Tony's like, I'm in love. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Don't blame him.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think, but Tony also knows that Pepper's got this thing in it, and it's still sort of his brain working, kind of. She actually can help herself currently because she's got the power. I can't remember the name of it now.
Does. Sure.
Yeah.
Weird orange glooby thing.
Yeah. That was quite miswriting. Oh God. But still, the movie overall was generally good, and the concepts are properly written out. What we're getting right now is we want to progressively think, but we won't properly think through what progressively getting.
Yeah.
Like the ideas aren't properly thought out properly. They're not properly debated, all that stuff. And I think what is then an idea that is not thought through at all, sounds kind of progressive, and in that sort of framework, all that sort of stuff. But there's no framing as to the rules, all that sort of stuff, and that needs to change. That, like, in order for us to evolve, generally speaking, or in order for the Marvel universe to evolve, it still needs to ask those questions of like, can we trust the government? Is family the right thing? Is family sort of the right sort of motivations, all that sort of stuff? Are you yourself strong enough for a certain task, all that sort of stuff? It still needs to answer those questions, but also at the same time, also has to progressively think in order for us to keep evolving. It's just going too far as well. I consider something called work, I think.
I would say, in an analysis of what Elliott and I just spoke about, we notice that the good, we're talking about character development.
Yeah, that's
your key, character development. WandaVision, character development. Wanda's powers are growing. She's learning she's learned that she's the Scarlet Witch. She learns that she wants a family, so she's going to explore her powers to try and find a family, to resurrect Vision and find her children. Loki becomes the god he was always meant to be. John Walker realizes that he needs to not be the perfect soldier, but he needs to be a good man. Problems with the government as well. Peter Parker realizes with great power comes great responsibility. I need to sacrifice my identity to become the hero that the world needs me to be. All of the good parts were character development, because coming from a story writing perspective, because I do write stories, consistency and an idea of a direction is so important, because if you don't know where your story is going, if you don't know where your story is finishing, or at least stopping off for a while, then it's going to fall apart. Take a look at phase 1 to phase 3. They very clearly had an idea of where they wanted the story to start and where they wanted the story to end. They had the idea. Phase 4 onwards, they wanted to make it bigger with the multiverse. And it very, very quickly became independent projects, not tied together. The video essay that I've really enjoyed watching recently was, they likened it to, instead of it being a sturdy tower being built with phase 1 and 2, it was like a Jenga block tower.
Oh yeah.
Bricks on top, and then you finally get to the top, and the Empire State's like there's going. But phase 4 and 5 is literally bricks on the bottom foundation. There's more and more things being built. The 10 Rings, the multiverse, the TVA, the Bangles, and Miss Marvel. Don't even know what happened in Marvels. Some mirror dimension thing. I don't know. I'm making a complete. Moonlight. I'm sorry. Moonlight is liked. I didn't like it. It's quite forgettable. There's also Egyptian gods for real now. Okay. What the Eternals? I almost forgot about them. they've always been a thing. So Celestials are real.
Yeah.
There's just too much. There's too much and nothing's happening. It's not leading to anything. We're not getting a sense of the story. They all seem like individual projects. It's very clear that then, from what you said, the way that attention was received was, let's give the fans what we think they would want. Take Multiverse of Mattness as my case study example. The Illuminati, at the time fan service. Let's get Sir Patrick Stewart back as Professor X. Let's get the guy from The Office.
Oh, yeah.
What's Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah.
Let's get in Tim Carter, live action. Let's get in Black Belt from the TV show that no one watched. Let's bring in this fixated character from Captain Marvel who just keeps coming back.
Oh, yeah.
What's her name? What's the name? And what do they do with those characters? It's just fuel for people to watch. And then all of the characters disappear.
I guess
No reasons.
maybe fan service for the sake of fan service.
Fan service for the sake of fan service.
It was like, there's no written build up to why that character could be that, should be that.
Is fan service done right? Spider-Man No Way Home. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Because Deadpool and Wolverine was speculated to be a cameo for a very, very long time. Cameos are good and all, but if you want fan service, then you do a film like Deadpool and Wolverine. Wolverine is there for an extensive length of the film and actually has something relevant to the plot. Then you have proper cameo fan services like Blade and Elektra, X-23, Laura, and coming in, kicking serious ass, really being relevant to the plot. The Spider-Men did something. It wasn't just Tobey Maguire going, I'm going to put some dirt in your eye and disappearing.
Yeah.
That's fan service done right. That's the one that we want. We want characters to achieve, to have struggles, to overcome those struggles and be a hero,
Yeah. It also makes sense for those characters to be in there because they're old movies. For essence speak, you can think for yourself and know why they could be there.
Yeah.
Actually, like, you're not told as to why they're there, but you know why they're there.
Yeah.
It's like you are shown, but you're told, but you can kind of work it out basically yourself. Like, I know why they're there because they're old movies, and that makes sense at the time that will actually be taken out.
But that's just it. That's No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine clearly had an idea of the multiverse story it wanted to tell. Because Deadpool, thank God, obeyed the laws of Loki and did the multiverse that way with the TVA. And then the Void came back, which was so funny. Reynolds. Goliath from the Loki series 1 episode 5. Okay. Which I love that movie so much.
Yeah.
It was a tribute to all of the X-Men films into the fans really wanted the multiverse to kick off. But then it never did. The multiverse is not kicking off.
No.
We don't have the Avengers. We don't have a team. We have individual characters doing their own thing. We're not learning what those characters are doing. Doctor Strange is off somewhere.
Yeah.
Hulk is off somewhere. Do we dare even talk about She-Hulk?
No, because I didn't watch it.
Huh?
No, because I didn't watch
You
it.
didn't watch it.
No.
Well, She-Hulk achieved nothing.
I saw a clip of it and I was
All it did in my eyes was reintroduce Daredevil. Basically, say that Hulk can conceive.
who would afford it?
Even though he said these are things he can't.
Yeah.
He then goes off to Sakai and comes back and just like, hey, this is my son.
Yeah.
What does She-Hulk do? Should insert GIF of She-Hulk twerking here.
Yeah.
Let's not get into that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
because they showed. Well, I think they said that they enjoyed it, but I wasn't one of those people. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, but like, to what? Just don't.
It wasn't Marvel. It was
The writing was
it was poor. It was very poor. It was breaking at the fourth wall was terrible, and it just for me, what it lacked was Marvel. There was no Marvel attributes to it at all. It made me realize that Wong's character kind of sucks because in Doctor Strange 1, he was this ancient, unspoken librarian sorcerer. And from every moment onwards, he just appeared out of nowhere, just saying, "Don't do this thing. Let's do it. Okay, we're not going to do it. You're going to do it anyway, and I'm going to be in it."
Yeah.
Like in Shang-Chi, he was singing karaoke with them. In She-Hulk, he was ring with Abomination because Abomination was apparently a wet flannel now.
On the ground fight match.
Just don't understand what Phase 4 and Phase 5 trying to achieve sometimes.
I'm going to touch on it again briefly, kind of when we overlap sort of episode 2 and episode sort of 3 maybe of our previous episodes, where like you can do strong hero characters, but you can't just see them cheaply. You've got to respect them. Like I'll bring back Uraraka again, or Rarity again, where she has the feminine tropes. She's very joyful, very fun to be around. But at the same time, when she locks in to do what she needs to do, and she still struggles, but she's still strong. We don't get that at all. It's just sort of, I am strong, deal with it. There's no real reasonable explanation to why they're strong. It's I'm strong because the plot needs me to be strong. And nothing else. So they're going, cool, you're boring.
But you could argue the same with any type of character. If a character never struggles, then they're boring.
Oh yeah, true.
I will say this with gusto. Kang is a boring character.
Yeah.
Never struggles. Thanos struggled.
Yeah.
He spent 10 years trying to collect the stones, and he fought Iron Man. Almost lost. He said all that for a drop of blood. Walks in, defeats everyone, still gets unalived in Endgame. Then has a big battle struggle in Endgame. He struggled to get what he wanted. Kang was just revered. I always don't like, I never like, but to be fair, I do like sometimes when a villain or a name is hyped up. If they said like, to be fair, in Harry Potter, you said that, for example, he who must not be named. And they kept on talking about Voldemort for ages and ages and ages, and then Voldemort finally appeared. And he who must not be named is here. Well, when Voldemort actually did something, you're like, oh, yay! He who must not be named.
That's fair, yeah.
But
I didn't think about that,
Like Kang comes out of nowhere, and you're like, everyone's talking about you on. Loki is shaking his boots at the sheer mention of you.
Yeah.
Because Kang is the reason that the multiverse will end. It starts with him. It's always been him. Cool, you ready for him? Give me Kang. Give me the villain you wanted. Gets defeated in his first movie.
Yeah.
Why do you want me to like this villain?
Yeah.
When you're making him boring. When you're... What's it as well? Cassie Lang in that movie. She just so happens to have Ant-Man tech, and then just so happens to get the hang of it in that movie. Doesn't go through the same struggle that Scott went through in the original Ant-Man movie, having vertigo. Basically having a training sequence for the entire movie to learn how to use the Ant-Man suit. She never struggles with that. And then that famously bad written line of dialogue between her and MODOK. I don't know who to be, Cassie. Don't be a dick, Darren.
That solves problems.
So that just seeing as my therapist. Yes, I just don't know why I'm so sad. Don't be sad.
Thank you, Cassie.
Thank you.
You see the obvious. Thank you very much.
I would say I'm trying to think of another example of a character that became boring here.
Well, maybe Hulk.
I was going to say Hulk. Well, Hulk didn't have a struggle. He used to be one of the most fragile characters in phase 1, 2, and 3, with his struggle of suppressing the Hulk and not wanting to be the Hulk, and Banner trying to take control. So always had that identity crisis. So after that, when he became Professor Hulk in phase 4 and 5, he was just like, okay, I'm just here, just doing nothing, just gonna just carry on doing nothing.
It's kind of interesting. So with Hulk's arc, he's sort of like, once the Avengers disbanded, is they going, I know I don't have responsibility, someone has nailed me over and have kids and whatnot, all that sort of stuff. It's like, cool, but like you're still an asset to, to your people, sort of thing. You're stronger than most people, and type of stuff. Why aren't you using that? Like, what aren't you helping? Like, you can help. Why don't you? I'm not that we've seen it or we even may see it, but I'm going to mention it here anyway. You know, Castle Brave New World. Like,
I'm very tempted.
Like
very tempted.
Yeah. Where's Hulk? Where's Hulk with Red Hulk? Like, that makes more that makes more sense.
Well, it does, doesn't it?
Like, if you're gonna have a psychological breakdown of Red Hulk, maybe you should have another Hulk in the mix to kind of like who seems to have more sway in regards to controlling the Hulk. I know for a fact you don't get that. Here's that. Where what you're thinking is.
So I'm glad that things appear to be taken on board. Marvel like to take things on. I think I mentioned this to you before, ages ago, when the Batgirl movie cancelled. I know that's DC. Don't worry, I know my superheroes. The Batgirl movie got cancelled, and we thought, oh my goodness, the studios are actually listening to us. Okay. Then the whole DC universe got completely reset. Now it's starting from scratch. I think that's brave. But that's very, very brave. I'll give it a go if I'm being completely honest, but I'm changing the subject. But Marvel are taking feedback on board too. The TV shows. There was too many TV shows. There was too many things that we're being bombarded with. Separate stories with no character growth, and the post-credit scenes led nowhere, essentially. And it was starting to get very old very quickly. So I haven't seen the Agatha Harkness show because I don't care. I've heard it's good, so maybe I'll give it a go. But the whole point of this podcast is to almost tell you, to almost show as a case point you, at what point do you just stop caring about product? Marvel churning out so almost too much with no direction, too much fan service, no idea where the story is going. After a while, it just gets dull.
Or it's that joke where they keep hearing it's kind of funny where Marvel became an hour-long ad for its next movie. Like, there was no thought in the actual movie itself. It's just an hour-long ad for a next movie setup that will have no real character development again, and here's your next movie sort of thing. I really thought I'm going to hear, but I'll touch more when we get to like the podcast where I can. But that's a corporate in general. That's corporate in general right now. It's like, here's a cheap product. Now you can
Yeah.
Numerous products because the other one's broken apart.
It's fine out.
Sony. Yeah.
These characters that no one wanted a movie for. Yeah, Mobius, Madam Web, Flavor Phantom. Name me one person that wanted a movie like that. I mean, Craven the Hunter would have been an interesting character to explore. I heard the movie did poor. All I know from the Craven the Hunter movie is that Elliott needs to go to the moon because Sony didn't know where it was going. It was just churning things out for money. To the idea of everything being connected to Spider-Man, but nothing being connected to Spider-Man. Because why?
Yeah.
Again, no direction. We're not it's just exhausting at this point. Why go to a film? Because sometimes I would go and I would watch a film for Marvel, even though I never really wanted to. I'll be completely honest. As a character, I really wasn't interested in 4. I didn't watch 4 1 or 2 in the cinema because I didn't want to. So when 4 Ragnarok's trailer dropped, I wasn't interested in it, and I was like, I don't know, I really can't be bothered. Then I heard people saying that 4 Ragnarok was the greatest Marvel movie of Phase 3 so far. I'm like, sure, whatever. Sure. I then admittedly watched 4 Ragnarok before I watched 4 1 and 4 2.
Yeah,
and
that is the same sort of thing to us.
I liked it. Really liked it. I thought this is great. So I went back, watched 4 1, watched 4 2. Bada bing, bada boom. You like the movies?
Yeah, but I guess you don't even get that. I guess you don't even want to watch anymore with the new thing pan out. You have to watch it in a certain order.
Yeah.
With the Infinity Saga, you kind of got a little bit of freedom in regards to what you can watch with stuff.
Yeah.
So at the minute, we don't get that.
It's just not. What made the original MCU so great is that it rewarded the fans with patience. It introduced us to these characters that had to grow, had to evolve, had so many obstacles, so many different challenges. It was all ultimately leading to somewhere. There was one story going on planet Earth, and there was one story going on in the galaxy. So the whole Thanos threat was brewing in the galaxy, and the Avengers were going through their own battle on Earth. And then eventually, when everything came to a head, it ultimately converged. When everyone was in such a fragile spot, boom, that's when Thanos decided to attack. It tested everyone and made them realize, oh my gosh, we've really struggled here. We've screwed up. Wait, what we've got now in Phase 4 and 5 is there's so many different stories going on. You got the Marvels, you got Hulk, you got Daredevil, you got Spider-Man, you've got probably like Captain America going on from here. You've got Loki on the other side of the universe. There's just too much. Nothing's taking off yet, and hopefully, with the release of Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four this year.
Yeah, Thunderbolts was looking good. I was actually kind of skeptical when it first jumped to say, yeah, all right. The second trailer I just saw recently again. Okay.
Yeah.
I have my attention now.
Well, they mentioned there's no Avengers.
Yeah.
So who do we move if we don't have the Avengers anymore?
Yeah, also, Daredevil, Born Again. Yeah, looks legit as well. Like, the writers actually have come back from Netflix.
Yeah.
But again,
essentially dubbed it like Netflix series.
Yeah, and which is good. Okay, you've got my attention now.
Yeah. See, Marvel, that's the thing. Marvel still have it in them. Yeah. Unlike other mainstream franchises, which I've completely given up on.
That's a frustrating Star Wars.
No, I really wanted you to guess that. Yeah. Well, I'll put it this way, folks. Star Wars is not on our agenda. It's not, because I'm done. I'm done with Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm done talking about it. I'm just done. Anyways, moving on. It's just really sad when content can be good, but it just isn't. It feels empty, soulless, really boring. And Marvel has had a lot of that. But then there are moments that surprise us, right, of quality that keep us engaged and almost hopeful that this once great cinematic universe can become good again.
Yeah, but there's already hope in. I mean, I haven't watched all the sort of there's the multiverse saga, but I would snip it to that.
Yes. It's not even a saga.
No,
It's just the multiverse mess.
yeah, there's bits that they're going, oh, that's fair, I quite like that. But then it's just all bounce on something else. But from where we're going now, we'll probably jump into the next episode. It seems like they're changing course. Seems to be expected only for them to completely go, oh yeah, we've now got it sorted. Like, oh, you see.
But that's just it for me. I think the damage is done. The damage, it hurts. You look back at, I'm using Harry Potter as an example again. You look back at Harry Potter, hypothetically, you look at Goblet of Fire and go, they figured the story out there, so we know where it's going now, and it's headed in a new direction. Like, Voldemort's not the new threat anymore. Professor Quirrell's come back, and he's got the soul bringers with him, and they're planning to merge the mortal world with the wizard world and make everyone equal, but the wizards should be separate from muggles, because if muggles have wizard powers, and that's something I've just made up on the spot. If you think about it, if that sort of stuff happened in Harry Potter, we wouldn't be taking it. We're just being like, very clear that you had no idea where the story was going. Doesn't matter where the story is headed now. You've ruined the hype of what was to be. I'm saying that from that context because there was hype in Phase 4. I was excited for what the multiverse could produce. To No Way Home, WandaVision, going up right to Multiverse of Mattness.
Yeah.
I was like, they're building up to something. Multiverse is happening. This is a brand new threat. And we're not expecting. The Avengers have clearly disassembled. And it's going to hit the fan. We're not going to know what's coming. And they didn't even know what was coming. It was such a mess. So many things were going on. And now, finally, they're turning around and say, like, okay, so we're going to make everything a little bit more grounded. You know, we've got a direction here as well. Also, clearly Spider-Man 4 is happening.
Yeah.
And then they said apparently the original plan was to make it much more of a grounded street threat, and now he's off probably fighting Noel or something like that. It's just tiring. They're improvising. Yeah. And I'm okay with improvisation, but their imp doesn't make any sense.
No.
Right?
Yeah, no.
They're
going to have a better direction going forward. I mean, it looks like they've got a small jump in their new films coming out. But we'll see. Yeah, I think we'll.
So it sort of brings it around to where we're headed in the next episode, actually. We've spoken a lot about Phase 4 and 5. I've noticed we haven't spoken about, we didn't speak about Secret Invasion.
No.
Because that was shocking. Again, not something I want to relive. That's enough example, actually, of a boring character, Nick Fury. Nick Fury had so much potential for struggle, personal sacrifice in that movie.
The cat in the eye.
He was just a boring character in that movie. That was just like, it had minor beef with Skrulls. You find out that he had a Skrull wife. And then, I don't even know. Yeah. So the point is, you've probably seen the fury in my face. Me and Elliott have discussed how much Phase 4 and Phase 5 had good content, but clearly doesn't know where it's going with it.
Yeah.
So that was sort of the agenda of this episode. Next episode 7, my goodness.
Yep.
We're
That's
going,
weird.
yeah, so we're going to be talking about Phase 6.
Yeah.
So we spoke about Phase 4 and 5. At the end of this, at the end of this year, Phase 5 is ending, if I'm not mistaken. Or I feel like, I don't know, I can't remember if Fantastic Four is the first Phase 6 film or not. It might be. I'm going to look it up after this. See, that it is. Thunderbolts is the last Phase 5 movie.
Oh, cool.
And the first Phase 6 movie is the Fantastic Four film.
Oh, okay.
Thank goodness. So we're going to be talking a lot about Phase 6 and the potential that Marvel could have with that, because we're on a roller coaster now, whether we like it or not. It's headed to an unknown destination. So me and Elliott are going to unpack where that destination could be for Marvel Phase 6 and perhaps beyond even that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, but that is
Cool. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we'll announce in episode 7, at the end of episode 7, what we're going to be talking about next.
Yeah, that was amazing.
You're very excited about that one.
Before I could get to sort of deep subject and kind of really kind of dig into it. So
yes. But when this episode will be released, that'll be a week before you guys even find out what that agenda is, what we're going to talk about next. So that's really funny. Tell me, this has been me time. You have fun. I'm scared to be listening. What?
you know, we finally got the Sweet Wolves finally.
Excellent. Until the next me time.
See
See you later.
you. Bye.